What's up, team? It's ROBBMAC from M3 Beats, and today let's talk about GTS style tail lights for your BMW F30 and F80 M3.
ROBBMAC.
The OEM BMW GTS tail lights will set you back a small fortune at around $8,000, but what if you want cool tail lights on your BMW F30 3 Series and you don't want to sell a kidney? Thankfully, you have some options with what's shaping up to be one of the hottest mods this summer. Aftermarket replica OLED style GTS tail lights for your BMW F30 and F80 M3. If you've been following Instagram lately, you probably noticed that these tail lights have become one of the hottest mods for BMW F30s and F80 M3s. These replica style tail lights will set you back around $650, and they are way cheaper than the OEM options and a lot easier to find, and the kits are plug and play so you can do this yourself. The main visual differences between the V1 and the V2 is the little scales on the bottom row of the V2 have lines in them that make them a closer replica to the OEM GTS OLEDs. Beyond that, the differences from a cosmetic perspective are very minor. Both kits are plug and play and have the same startup light sequence, as well as sequential turn signals built into the units. I got my V2s that I'm installing in this video back in January from Bayoptiks before they became widely available. So go with your favorite retrofitter website to make your purchase today, but I know my friend Brian over at Keys Motorsports has the V1 in stock, so go check those out. First thing you're going to do is open the trunk of your car. Then, using a trim tool and a Phillips head screwdriver, you're going to remove these 8 plastic fasteners from the car. You just need to unscrew them a few turns, and then you can pull them out with a trim tool, and if any of them get stuck, then you can also use a pair of pliers. The ones deep down in some of the holes are a little bit tricky, so this is where a pair of pliers might come in handy, but I was able to get them out using a trim tool on my application. Next, you want to remove the safety latch from inside of the trunk. You just do that by pulling on the little cable and then pressing down on the tab in the center and removing the little T-bar at the end of the wire. It's pretty self-explanatory. Once you have it in your hands, you just pull it in and pull it out, and then you can see it came right out. The next thing that you need to do is remove the trunk hinge covers. These are easy. There's 2 little tabs on the outer sides on both hinges. You just pop those open and then gently slide the cover off, and then it should pop right out. You'll have to do that on both sides. Then there's going to be 2 additional fasteners. Some people have a T25 on this part. Mine were just little push pins that go inside of fasteners, so you need to remove the push pin part first, and then the fastener, as you can see in the video, just removing them both parts with a trim tool. Once you have all the fasteners and the trunk release removed and the hinge covers, then you can remove the entire upper trunk liner as you see here. The next thing that you need to do is remove the 10mm nut that is holding the clip into the trunk tail light, and then you'll be able to remove that portion of the clip and then be able to push the light right out of the trunk housing. That's the clip that holds it in. And then there's a hook near my right hand that I'll show you in a second that is held into the trunk panel that you just need to rock out, and then it will release. Right here on this bottom edge, that is the hook that is clipped into the body panel. Here I'm just inserting the new GTS style headlight into the trunk assembly. This part is a little tricky, as you have to get the little hook latch on the left side with the bolt to catch underneath the body panel, and then there's also a hook on the right side that you can see me pressing in on with my hand from the outside that you have to also get to snap into place. If you don't get a good click and a proper seat here, this light will not technically be installed properly, and when you go to tighten it down, it's just going to pop right back out, or even worse, you will drive away with it on your car thinking that you have it installed, and then it's going to fall out on the street. Once you have everything lined up and installed correctly, then you just go ahead and tighten it back down with the 8mm. Remember, it's an 8mm, not a 10mm like the OEM light. And then you just want to tighten this down as tight as you can get it, but I wouldn't go crazy because it is still a plastic clip, and you want to, you know, make sure that you just get it snug and where it's not going to move, and you get a good seal on the weather stripping, but you don't want to get it make it crack. These lights work on LCI models as well as pre-LCI models, and there are connector clips for both. As you can see in this image, I have a pre-LCI model, so I connected my clip as required. Here I'm doing a little test fit just to make sure everything lines up correctly and I got good fitment before I go ahead and commit to the rest of the install. So back with another 10mm socket wrench, you can go ahead and remove the cover on the outside of the weather stripping on your OEM tail lights, and then you will expose the two 10mm bolts. Once you have those loosened up, then you just grab the tail light with two hands and pull it straight back towards you, and it will pop right out. You'll see that there is a connector pin that you need to remove. All you have to do is just push down on the tab and then remove the connector pin from the light, and it's that simple. It's a good idea to clean up everything with some alcohol at this point so that your new tail lights have a good surface to seal with the weather stripping. Just showing you a little bit of a close-up detail of the tail light. One of the things that you're going to have to do is run a cable from the trunk light to the corner light, and that cable is pre-supplied in this V2 kit that I've got from Bayoptiks. It already came wrapped in a wire shield, so the nice thing is with this particular kit is I didn't have to splice any wires. I literally just had to pull this wire through a hole that was already in the tail light assembly that I'm going to mount it to, and then I will connect this into the upper tail light a little bit later. But right here, I'm just kind of getting the cable ran and trying to figure out what to do with these heat sinks, because there were a couple of heat sinks on each one of the units in this particular kit that I had with double-sided tape. So I did a little bit of test fitting to figure out the best way to get those to fit. And then here I just did a test with the lights and connected everything and made sure that they all worked before I committed to, you know, tightening everything down, and did some visual inspection to see that everything was good. So I was happy with the fitment, I was happy with the functionality. So I will show the full tail light startup sequence once I get through the rest of this install. So now I'm just going back to those heat sinks, and then I peeled the backing off the double-sided tape and committed them to those two locations that you see there. So I just reinstalled the tail light and tightened it back down the same way that I took it off. It's a little bit of a tight fit with the wire going through, but if you're careful and you maneuver it a little bit, then it should work just fine. You do want to leave yourself a little bit of slack, like as you can see right below the lower bolt, how I did, just because you don't want that to, you know, be pulled quite so snug. There's plenty of cable in this kit to be able to route it up through the trunk hinge and up to the other light, so there's no issue with that. But you know, it's not a good idea to have that be a tight fit. So from here, I am just going to route that same cable that I pulled up through the back of that hole and underneath the tail light, and then route it underneath the trunk liner and up through the hinges, and then up to the upper tail light, or the trunk lid tail light, and it just clips into place. You can really only put it in one way, and then I'll zip tie that to the actual trunk hinge a little bit later. But same thing, there's a couple of heat sinks on the upper tail light too that need to be mounted in a location. I did a little playing around, and where you're seeing me put it in this this first location is probably your best location. I end up moving it in a second here, but that did not actually work. I ended up moving it back to the location, the first location that I had. So here I just take 4 zip ties and secure them to the trunk hinge, so that way they're out of the way and they're not dangling around in the car. I reinstall the weather stripping and the trunk liner, to hide my work. You can just gently peel back this weather rubber stripping and also reinsert the trunk liner back in. This cover I didn't show you when I took it off, but it literally just slides in, and then there's like one pin fastener that comes off with a Phillips head screwdriver or a trim tool, whichever one you want to use. And then you can just snap it back into place, and it looks like this when you're done. And then that's pretty much it. You repeat the same process for the left side of the car as I did here in the right side of the car. I'm not going to show the left side on camera. I'm going to jump right to the full install. So now that the tail lights are installed, I'm going to give you a quick preview of the startup sequence to let you see what that looks like. Then I'm going to show you what the tail lights look like when you apply the brakes. This is what the turn signals look like. I don't know why they included this feature on a BMW, because everybody knows that BMW drivers don't use these. And then here's just the same, the holy crap, I'm in a ditch lights, otherwise known as the hazard lights. I was really surprised at how bright the reverse lights are on this kit. These things are like 100 times brighter than the OEM lights that came in on my car. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and to get the latest updates on my build. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about these GTS style tail lights, and follow me on Instagram at M3Beats for my latest car photography.